All right, let's talk about one of the coolest things about the modern web. You know, how pages can change and update right in front of you without you ever touching that refresh button? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how that magic actually happens.
I mean, you know the feeling, right? You're just scrolling and poof, a new comment shows up. Or a little box slides into the corner telling you, hey, new message. How in the world does that work? Well, it's not magic. It's JavaScript, and it's talking directly to the structure of the page itself.
And the way it does that is through something called the DOM, the Document Object Model. The easiest way to think about it is like a live blueprint or a map of the web page. Every single thing on the page, every heading, every button, every picture is an object on this map. But here's the really powerful part. JavaScript doesn't just get to read the map, it gets to redraw it whenever it wants. So if we want to start redrawing that map, the first thing we need is something to draw with. And that all starts with creating a brand new element, a digital building block, basically from nothing.
It's really just a few simple steps. First, we use document.createElement to literally conjure up a new empty element. Think of it like a blank Lego brick. Then we give it an identity, some personality, by setting its class name. This is how we'll style it later with CSS. And finally, we give it a purpose by putting some content inside. Now, at this point, our element exists, but it's kind of floating in the void. It's in the browser's memory, but it's totally invisible on the page.
And an invisible element isn't very useful, is it? So that brings us to the next, absolutely crucial step, finding it a home. It's like you've just painted this amazing picture, but it's not really done until you hang it on the wall for everyone to see.
And luckily, JavaScript gives us some really easy ways to do this. We can append it, which just sticks it at the very end of another element, or we can prepend it, which puts it at the very beginning. We can even get more specific and place it before or after a different element, like a new sibling. It's all about picking the perfect spot.
But what if you need, surgical precision? For that, we've got a powerhouse tool called insertAdjacentHTML. It gives you these 4 super specific options. As you can see, you can place your new content just before begin, so right before the element itself, or after begin, tucked just inside the front door, or before end, right inside at the very end, or after end, right after the whole element. This is your go-to for really fine-tuned control.
Okay, so our element is born, it has a home on the page, but what if we need to change it later? What if its state needs to update? What if clicking a button should make it light up? Well, that's where the makeover comes in.
And we have total control here. We can change its ID, we can completely swap out its class name, or, and this is super useful, we can use classList to just add or remove a single class, like adding highlight or removing hidden. We can also set custom data attributes to store information, and yep, we can even reach in and change its CSS styles directly, like making its text color red.
But here's a really important pro tip. Even though you can change styles directly from JavaScript, it's almost always a better idea to keep your styles defined in your CSS file. Then just use JavaScript to toggle class names on and off. Why? It just keeps your code so much cleaner. JavaScript handles the what, the logic, and CSS handles the how it looks. It's a beautiful separation.
Now, when it's time to change what an element actually says, we have 2 main tools, text content and inner HTML. Text content is your safe, reliable choice. It treats everything as plain text. If you try to put HTML tags in there, it'll just show the tags themselves. Inner HTML is the powerful one. It actually reads and renders the HTML. But with great power comes great responsibility. You should never, and I mean never, use inner HTML with text that comes from a user. It's a huge security risk. So, rule of thumb, always use text content unless you are absolutely certain the HTML you're inserting is safe.
So what happens at the end of its life, when that notification has been seen or that item has been deleted? It's beautiful in its simplicity. We just call the .remove method on the element. Poof! It vanishes from the DOM, like it was never there. Its job is done.
All right, theory's great, but let's put all the pieces together and see this in action. We are going to build that dynamic notification we talked about at the very beginning using every single concept we just covered.
So here's our goal. We want a nice, reusable function. We want to be able to just call show notification, feed it a message like data saved, and a type like success, and then have a perfect little notification just appear on screen and then go away on its own.
So how do we start? Step 1, the birth. Just like we learned, the very first line of our function creates a brand new div. Right now, it's totally invisible, just an idea floating in the browser's memory, waiting for instructions.
Next up, the makeover. We give it its style. We assign the base notification class, and we also add the success class to make it look, well, successful. Then, using our safe friend text content, we pop in our message. See how we're mixing and matching our new skills?
Okay, our notification is built, it's styled, it's ready for the world, it needs a home. So we use document.body.append to stick it right onto the page. The exact moment this line of code runs, our notification becomes visible to the user. It's live.
But we don't want it to stick around forever, right? That would be annoying. So here's the final, most elegant piece of the puzzle. We use a function called setTimeout. It's basically a little alarm clock. We're telling the browser, hey, in exactly 3,000 milliseconds, I need you to do one thing for me. Call.remove on that notification.
And that number, 3,000, that's the key. That's 3 seconds. It's the element's automated self-destruct sequence. This is how you create those awesome temporary messages that just clean up after themselves, which makes for a way better experience for your users.
So let's just recap. You've just picked up a whole new set of superpowers. You now understand the entire life cycle of an element on a web page. You can create them from nothing, place them anywhere, change everything about them, and then make them disappear when they're no longer needed. This isn't just code. It's the recipe for building a living, breathing web. So there it is. You've seen the blueprint, you've learned the moves, you now hold the keys to making websites that react, that respond, and that feel truly alive. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it? Thanks for watching.